G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza and today we're going to have a conversation about practice. Now, it's a bit of a boring word really if you're an artist because you hear it a lot, especially if you ask someone you respect the question, how do I get skills like you? How do I progress to be at your sort of level? And that's the answer they give, really. That's the first piece of advice I tend to give to people who are starting out and want to know how to progress, and it's often the piece of advice you tend to hear the most. Now, there's a reason for that, and that's because it's true. The more you do something, the better you get at it, but that doesn't mean it becomes necessarily natural or easy to do. So I'm going to have a short conversation about 3 different kinds of practice and how you might alternate between them, or I suppose focus on one depending on what stage you're at. The first kind of practice is coincidental practice. Now, this is something that I tend to get more than the other kinds because I do this for a job. So when I do client work or when I do work on my channel and do tutorials and things like that, even though I'm teaching or I'm doing client work, I'm working at a skill level I'm comfortable with and have kind of built up to. So it is a little more kind of on the same level, but over time it's practice. It does build up. So over years of doing this YouTube channel and doing client work, I'm still improving and I do take points and focus on them and improve. And that's something in this case we'll call coincidental practice because it's a coincidence that you're practicing because you're just doing. The next 2 kinds of practice that I'm going to talk about are a lot more important when it comes to rapidly developing skills, which is why we like to practice. That's why we recommend practicing. And the first one we're going to call inspired practice. And we all know what this feels like, and this is the best kind of practice. Inspired practice is when you play a video game and you love the art style and it feels amazing and you just want to mimic that feeling that you get in seeing that art style. And inspired practice is the feeling you get when you see another artist do something incredible, or you see a movie that just brings your creative juices to the forefront. Inspired practice is where something else triggers that part of your brain that creates a need within you to make things, to just sit down and just go nuts and use everything that you can related to what's inspiring you in a hungry sort of way to really build something out of it. And this is the best, most constructive form of practice because it's so enjoyable and you really do just soak up everything. Your attention to detail just kind of peaks and it's a really incredible experience. So this can happen organically when you don't expect it, but it can also be triggered if you want to. So you can find ways to inspire yourself. You can go explore games and movies. You can go interact with other artists and have some jam sessions and drawing sessions and stuff like that. So you can find ways to create that inspired practice feeling. And the third kind of practice is what I'll call developmental practice, which is not necessarily coincidental because you're going to sit down and make the choice to practice, and it's not always inspired. It can be, but it's not always inspired, and it's more the situation where you need to improve something, whether it be for something that you're doing for school, or it could be an aspect of your art that you're failing in or that you're just not at a good level in and you want to improve. And so sometimes it might not be inspired and it might not be coincidental. You're just going to sit down and just hammer it out and just keep going at it. Now, I would recommend as much as possible to try and make this a little inspired, to try and psych yourself up and get that hungry sort of feel to it. But even if you can't manage to do that, it's still going to be effective. I would just say it's the least enjoyable. So I would recommend that if you're interested in developing your skills and getting to a higher level than where you're at now, coincidental and inspired practice are the best ways to go about it. Have a project that you want to reach the end of and just kind of build and work your way through it at an enjoyable pace, and then that's coincidental practice, because by the end of that, the next project you do will be that much better than inspired practice, of course. So try and inspire yourself and get excited about things. Now, of course, all 3 of these different methods of practice are going to improve your skills, but at the end of the day, the other thing you need to remember is it's about being okay with making mistakes. It's about being okay with not being at the level you want to be at, because the moment you get impatient and the moment you start getting really hard on yourself and down on your abilities because you're comparing yourself to others, or you don't feel a rapid rate of progression, that's when everything's just going to fall apart. Even if you try to sit down and do this third developmental practice and just hammer it out, there's only so long you can do that before crashing. So that's why I recommend the first two. Be positive with yourself, create projects, get inspired and get excited, and just enjoy the process, and don't worry about making mistakes. And seriously, no matter what project you're doing, even if it's the best thing you're doing right now, 5 years from now, you're going to look back and think, I could have done so much better, but the truth is you couldn't have. You're doing the best you can right now. So really just go easy on yourself and enjoy the process, because man, getting creative and being arty and making things with this passion that we all have to create things can be the most enjoyable process. So make sure you just relax and take the good with the bad and just let time take you on that journey. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our discussion about practice. It's a really short and sweet one, but I just felt the need to talk about this with you guys because I do get questions a lot about development and a lot of frustrated people who feel like they're stuck in the same place. But the fact is, even if you feel like you're not moving, you are moving as long as you're doing. So find ways to do and create and enjoy the process. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you later.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy my videos. You can download the reference files from this tutorial by clicking the link in the description. And remember to share any art, animation or game you make on Newgrounds.com. Until next time, see you later.